Welcome to this video. Lisa here. Thanks for clicking on the video. This is part of a series that I'm doing on addiction, and I want to talk about something today that's not often talked about. And if you see me just looking to the side, I have notes, and it helps me just clarify my thoughts of what I want to say. I want to talk about how, trigger warning, I'm going to talk about addiction and family and some conflict. So just be aware. And if that bothers you or triggers you, maybe this is not the best video for you. I want to discuss how addiction in families affects everyone and roles that often siblings have to take on that are forced into, and they may not want that. So there's a lot of unspoken family dynamics when you're dealing with someone with addictions. It could be any age. It could be they have addiction in high school. And anyway, there's a decades long pattern of someone with addictions and how siblings deal with that and how families treat each other in that regard. So for example, the person who is dealing with addiction, there's always a sibling that's not, and they're the responsible one. They're the dependable one. They're the one from a young age that has to take on a parental role. They're the one that sometimes gets forgotten. Like their achievements, like say academic achievements or whatever else they're doing in their life. Maybe the family doesn't acknowledge them because they're focusing on the other sibling that has a crisis with addiction. Could be anything. Maybe they're in jail, maybe they're asking for extra money or this or that. And it's always the other sibling. Often it gets forgotten. Or if there's a crisis and you have to go to the hospital, it's that calm, strong sibling that has the weight of the whole family on their shoulders, supporting them, guiding them. And so siblings like this, they grew up having to take on those roles. So like when you grow up in that environment, like I mentioned, your accomplishments may not be celebrated. Not because you're not valued, but because of the situation of addiction. The family needs to support the other sibling. So, that sibling may not feel like they're valued or feel like, oh, they don't care, like they're not acknowledging me. But they're kind of keep alive the other sibling. So from an early age, I can relate to this. I was that sibling. I was the responsible one, the motivated one, the one, who kept everything together. So often you learn to shrink yourself. You learn you don't need anything from anyone. You learn not to ask people for help. You learn to stay calm when everyone else is falling apart. So addiction, people realize, affects the whole family. It can create fear, uncertainty, constant crisis. But the person struggling is not intentionally choosing that crisis, that chaos. Addiction changes their behavior and their ability to show up. And families often get stuck in these roles. There's the helper, there's the protector, there's the scapegoat, there's the strong one. And then you learn about your boundaries. And what I've learned, you have to have very strict boundaries with your family. People from the outside might think it looks harsh. This Christmases, I was alone because that was by choice. I was tired of I don't want to be in that environment, being the strong one and feeling triggered. And so often in adulthood, that's why a lot of those people in that role, having to be the strong one, they detach. They separate from the family and don't want to be involved in it anymore. You can still love someone in your family from afar and set boundaries. You're not responsible for anyone else's recovery. Like, staying grounded doesn't mean you're sacrificing yourself. And staying connected. And sometimes having connections are small with the person that's struggling. Maybe it's just only you send them a text message on the birthday or Christmas, but that's it. Because otherwise, you don't have communication. Because often people in addiction are stuck in a loop. Like a record player is stuck in a groove and they can't get out of it. And they keep focusing on the same things. Because all addiction is trauma. Numbing the trauma, and they're talking about the past, talking about this. But that other person's like, I'm living my life. I don't want to think about that. So the boundaries are important to protect yourself because you have to live your life. I'm just trying to think what else I want to add to this video. But yeah, when you feel overwhelmed, sometimes professionals need to handle these situations. And even the parents, they're entrenched in this for so long. Like, often there's one that's often coddling or enabling. We're like, no, I want to save my baby. I want to save my baby. You're not saving them. And that's when the professionals have to step in, because it's like we fall into these roles, and crisis happens, and say the parent tries to rescue them, or I'll send you this money. It's not solving the issue, and it's not really resolving anything. So I know that recovery is a lifelong thing. It's not like some people. It's not like, oh, now I'm fine now. Like, no, it was always a risk of going back to that vice. So yeah, just let the professionals support and handle the care. Just a few things I just want to summarize from this video. If you grew up in a home with family of addiction and you were the responsible one, you're the one they depended on, your achievements matter. You matter. Even if they were not acknowledged at the time. You deserve support too. And it's okay to redefine your role when you're older. And I just want to say, addiction affects everyone in their family. It's not just the person who has the issue with addiction, and it's not just the parents. It's the siblings. It's everything. And something personal I want to share is, and also being the responsible one and the stable one, comes from having a lot of wisdom maybe the parents don't see. Like, you're really young, saying something like to them, you know, nothing's going to change in 20 years. You keep doing what you're doing. Keep enabling, not giving tough love. And then to see nothing changes, and maybe your loved one ends up in a medical crisis later. It's easy to feel angry because, like, why didn't they listen to me? People play their roles. People have their own issues. We have to take care of ourselves. And it means, a lot of times, it means walking away and stepping away from those people. But it's healing to set boundaries and stay grounded in yourself. And choosing connections that don't harm you. You can care for someone without losing yourself in the storm. Right, thank you for watching. I think I'll end this here. Comment below if you dealt with addiction in your family and how it has affected you. Were you the responsible one? Were you the helper? Did you have a family member who was always swooping in, trying to make it better for them, take away the pain, or make it easier for them? I'd be interested to hear. Thank you. See you in the next video.